Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a huge shift in the fight against cancer. It's a revolution that isn't about one single new drug, but about a whole new way of seeing the disease itself. And it's all powered by a breakthrough in artificial intelligence. We're going to break down how this tech is set to completely change everything, from how we diagnose cancer to how we treat it, kicking off a new era of truly personal medicine.
All right, so let's kick things off with a really critical question. After all the incredible medical advances we've made, why is it that our view of a patient's cancer is still so often, well, incomplete? Why do we still have these major blind spots?
Well, here's the thing. The core of the problem is that cancer is an incredibly complex disease. It shows up in our DNA, in our cells, and in the tumors we can see. But for years, we've been looking at it in separate pieces. The genomic report is in one system, the pathology slides are in another, and the doctor's notes are in yet another. Think about it. Each one is a vital clue, but they're all locked in separate rooms. We've never been able to see the full picture.
But what if you could just knock down the walls between those rooms? What if an intelligent system could grab every single one of those fragments and fuse them together into one clear, high-definition view of the disease?
And that, right there, is the promise of multimodal AI, or MMAI. You gotta understand, this isn't just another algorithm. It's more like a master framework that's built to pull in and make sense of all these different types of data at the same time. It learns the language of genes, of tissues, of scans, all to create one unified, deeply intelligent understanding of a single person's cancer. And this comparison here, it just nails the difference. The old way, unimodal AI, was kind of like a detective showing up to a crime scene and only having a single clue, maybe a footprint. It's useful, sure, but it's a limited view. MMAI is the detective who has the footprint, the DNA evidence, the security camera footage, and all the witness statements. By putting it all together, the conclusions you draw are not just more accurate, they're on a completely different level of confidence.
Okay, so what does all this actually mean for a patient? Well, this new, complete picture totally redefines the cancer journey. It shifts the entire process from being reactive, waiting for something to happen, to being proactive, predictive, and incredibly personal.
We're talking about a total transformation at every single stage of the game. When it comes to prevention, it's about spotting people who are at high risk long before cancer even has a chance to develop. Then, it's about diagnosing it earlier and way more accurately. From there, it helps doctors pick the absolute best, most precise treatment. And finally, it allows for real-time monitoring to see if that treatment is actually working, so you can switch gears fast if you need to.
And this isn't just theory, right? The real-world impact we're already seeing is pretty mind-blowing. We have AI models like Sybil that can look at a single CT scan you might get for something else and predict your future risk of lung cancer. In colonoscopies, AI is helping doctors find about 10% more of those precancerous polyps. It can even predict genetic mutations just by analyzing a standard pathology slide, which could save a ton of time and money on separate genetic tests.
And it doesn't just stop at diagnosis. By fusing different types of data, models like one called pathomic fusion are actually outperforming our current gold standards for predicting a patient's prognosis. This gives doctors, and more importantly patients, a much clearer and more reliable roadmap for what's ahead.
But the revolution doesn't stop in the clinic. Not even close. MII is also poised to completely overhaul how we discover and develop new life-saving drugs in the first place. You know, the old way of discovering drugs, it's famously slow, it's incredibly expensive, and frankly, a lot of it fails. MIAI is flipping that script. By crunching these massive biological datasets, it can pinpoint promising new drug candidates at a speed we never thought possible. And the early signs are showing that these AI-designed molecules are making it to clinical trials at basically double the rate of traditionally developed ones. And again, this is happening right now. Look at AstraZeneca's Trident project. They used MMAI on data from a huge lung cancer trial. They integrated imaging, pathology, and genomics, and they found a unique signature in more than half of the patients. This let them pinpoint exactly which people would get the most benefit from a specific combination therapy. That's taking precision medicine to a whole new level. What's more, MMI is even changing how we run clinical trials, making them faster and, honestly, more ethical. It allows us to create what are called digital twins, basically virtual patient groups built from tons of real-world data. These can act as a control group in a trial, which means fewer real patients have to be given a placebo. That could get new drugs approved and to the people who need them much, much faster.
So of course, this kind of innovation has a huge financial impact, but it might not be in the way you're thinking. This isn't just about creating new products to sell. It's about making the whole healthcare system smarter and more efficient.
I mean, just look at this number. A single analysis of an AI radiology platform in one hospital system predicted a 451% return on investment over 5 years. And get this, that wasn't from jacking up prices. It was almost entirely from making doctors more productive and the whole workflow more efficient. Or take this number. The dynamic trial showed that using a type of liquid biopsy data, which is perfect for MMAI models, led to a 13% absolute drop in chemotherapy use for some colon cancer patients. That means about 1 in every 8 patients was spared the cost and the toxicity of a treatment they didn't even need, all without affecting their chances of a good outcome.
So what this all boils down to is that we don't have to choose between better care and lower costs. MMAI shows us that it's not a trade-off. By getting way better at matching the perfect treatment to the right patient at the exact right time, we can get better health outcomes while actually lowering the astronomical cost of cancer care.
Okay, but let's be real. To make all of this incredible potential a reality, we've got some serious hurdles to clear. Our data is still stuck in those silos. The regulations are trying to play catch-up. We have to make sure these incredibly complex AI models aren't just black boxes. We need to know how they work. And most importantly, we have to be relentless about finding and stamping out any algorithmic bias to make sure these tools work for everyone, period.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. In this new world where data itself is the new medicine, where a patient's information can be as powerful as any drug, who's in charge of making sure that power is used ethically and that its benefits reach every single person fairly and equitably?